So in today's episode, we're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about why we get stuck behind it. And I'm going to share a little bit of my journey through my fear and learning to reframe it in a way that actually helps me to see fear as evidence that I'm moving into the version of myself that I desire to be, that I'm creating a life that I truly desire. See, fear is often seen as scary. We feel it as I'm scared. We may not recognize that consciously, but we know when it comes up in our body. We feel it as resistance. It feels like a roadblock. And you'll often hear people say, just push through the fear. But if we don't really understand what the fear is, what that feeling is telling us, it can be difficult to just blindly push through, because that would require us to ignore our body's signals. And that signal in our body, the fear, is not something that we're bypassing or pretending doesn't exist. But we've learned to see fear as the point that we stop. Kind of like when we would touch a hot stove. We pull back, and that pain is a signal that we don't touch that. And we often see our fear the same way. There is that primal part of our brain that knows how to keep us safe. Our body is designed to keep us safe. Our nervous system is trained to see familiar as safe. So we're always scanning the world unconsciously to find what is safe. And our fear does have purposes when we are in acutely dangerous situations. But fear often holds us back because we end up seeing it as a roadblock. We're actually often programmed by culture and society to believe that we should live lives that are just comfortable. But here's the thing. We come to this earth as spiritual beings when we are coming into these mortal bodies. So as humans, we're given cognition to think, to dream, to desire, and create, to expand. And in order to create and evolve, we must expand into newer versions of ourselves. Our purpose here is to awaken to newer versions of ourselves, to grander versions, to essentially move up the ladder of consciousness. So as we come into this world, and as we're programmed by our outer world, by caregivers and society, our nervous system set point of safety. It's set. What our beliefs are, what we believe about love, about life, about money, about our worth, about what we can believe about ourselves and what we can create. But the thing is, we're not made to stay at one set point. We are made to grow into other versions of ourselves. But when I think about the saddest, most depressing times that I have lived through, those times also correlated with when I didn't feel like I had a purpose, when I didn't feel like I had any life directions. I didn't know what my desires were. I didn't know where I was headed. I didn't really have any bigger vision for what I wanted to create. Because here's the truth. The opposite of depression is not happiness. It's purpose. And we were designed to know that purpose, that soul calling within you. And they come from desires. When I was in my 30s and I was going through a lot of difficulties in my marriage and just slogging through motherhood and just the day-to-day, I didn't really feel like I had a lot of purpose. I didn't have any kind of greater vision that I was living for to expand into. So I just was in this comfortable, toxic zone of my life. That's why we see people that will stay in toxic relationships, will stay in it because it still feels comfortable and it's what our nervous system knows. So if you have a belief that men are untrustworthy and you desire to create a healthy relationship, that's going to require you to become a healthier version of yourself, to be in a healthier relationship. But for you to take a belief like men are untrustworthy, you have to build a new empowering belief to say men are trustworthy. So in order to act in a new way, a new identity that says, I believe men are trustworthy, that requires you to act out of the faith of that new belief. And that's going to bring discomfort. So it's fear because you are beginning to act in the faith of a vision. And fear comes up because it's the discomfort saying, I don't have a blueprint for this. I don't have any past experience that shows me that what you're trying to believe and do is true. So your nervous system is letting you know that this is very uncomfortable. But that is essentially what we are doing when we are shifting, when we are transforming, when we are creating a new life. We're moving from allowing that fear to drive the car. I allowed fear to drive the car of my life. When I felt that feeling, I would let the fear control the wheel and I would stop the car. And I thought it was very real and very scary and it was a roadblock. But what I was doing was avoiding feeling the discomfort of moving into an upgraded version of my life, moving into a version of me that was more healed. And so what I have learned to do is reframe my relationship with fear. It's our nervous system that's telling us, you're going to die. Do not take this risk. But as your own inner loving parent, our role is to change our relationship with the fear. It is a sign that I am moving in purpose. I am doing things that I haven't previously done, and I'm building a new belief system to support that. So for me, building a business or showing up online was something 10 years ago I wouldn't have fathomed. I did not have the ability to hold that in my body. The fear of being visible was not something I could conceive of moving through. And so in order to expand myself, to do more of what I'm created to do, I had to change my belief. So what we do is we find where we have that disempowering belief. And when that fear comes up, it's a sign that something's shifting. When a desire to do something or a dream comes into your mind, that is your imagination. And your imagination is that higher self part of you. That is our spiritual consciousness. So when it comes through, Bob Proctor says, your desires are meant to be realized. You create a new vision. This is what I desire for my life. And you see something that you want to manifest in your life. And the practice of manifestation is beginning to align your belief system, that you begin to act in a way that supports that. And the law of sustainment says that you will not sustain any action if it's not in alignment with what you truly believe about yourself. So as you build a new belief, you will take action and it will feel uncomfortable. Fear it's real in the body, but it is your nervous system letting you know that you are growing. That is typically a sign that you are on the verge of expanding, moving up the ladder, and breaking through. And as you do that, as you move through, you will transcend the fear And you will look back and think, wow, I used to be afraid of that. Fear can manifest like procrastination, like avoidance, like just sabotaging. It can just look like old beliefs of worry and anxiety. This process requires regulating our nervous system and understanding how our bodies work. It is so powerful when we learn to reframe fear. It doesn't have to hold us back. It did for so much of my life until I got sick of feeling stuck behind the fear. So if you feel like that today, if you feel stuck because that fear comes and it feels too powerful, it's only the discomfort that your body is feeling. But when you tell yourself, this discomfort is moving me where I want to go, then you will be able to continue going forward. And that is what gives us this sense of fulfillment and purpose. When we see our lives progressing, when we see ourselves bringing value in the world through the desires, through our creativity that we pour out, see it as an opportunity to meet yourself and transcend it, and see the discomfort as a sign that you're breaking through. When you get inspired by a new idea, that is a desire that wants to come through you. And in order to achieve that inspired idea, a dream, desire, it's going to require you to shift beliefs within yourself to create that. Because the life we have today is based on the beliefs that we have subconsciously. When the fear comes up, is I do what's called an ego rip. Just getting out a piece of paper and allow my ego, that part of me, that protective self that wants to stay in control and wants to know all the answers and all the how-tos, and I'll just let it rip. And I will write everything I'm afraid of. If you believe money is hard to earn, you believe you're not worthy of good relationships, you believe that you're always going to be lonely, or you can't have the things you desire, those are based on old programming, and you are meant to live a higher version. Your identity, truly aligned, is a person who believes they're worthy, they're whole, that their desires are meant to come through. And so when you get an inspired idea, I want you to know that that is the divine speaking through you. And it's going to move you into action. The discomfort's going to come, but you continue to reinforce the new empowered belief, and you're going to shift yourself as an act of intention, an act of the will, to say, now I live in faith that this new belief, this is who I truly am. And you will take inspired action, because inspired means in spirit. So as you act in spirit, you are taking fear out of the driver's seat and you are putting faith there. And so that discomfort will just be a sign where you need to shift some beliefs, where you need to deal with some limits in yourself. You have a powerful purpose. You have a powerful soul calling. And oftentimes, our soul callings are coming out of our deepest pains and our deepest limiting beliefs. And the places you feel most stuck, the shadow parts of me that I felt most ashamed of, before I learned to integrate those parts of me, those have become some of my greatest purposes. And my friends, this is the work. This is the amazing, life-changing work that we do. And you just keep going, because you are limitless. and you are meant for abundance in all of its forms. And I'm gonna remind you of that, and I'm gonna be here doing this work right alongside you. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out this one where I talk about the secret weapon to break through into your most powerful self.